We have the rabbit leg meat that's been taken apart. It's been brushed with a slurry, and then she's wrapped it in plastic, much like how we did the cod.
Cod and the beef.
And the beef, wrapped up.
So now this is rabbit thigh.
This is rabbit thigh meat, yep.
Okay, and
leg
rabbit
meat.
Thigh meat or leg meat is lean.
It's very lean.
Very lean. Very low fat content.
One of the leanest out there.
One of the leanest cuts out there.
And so what we wanted to do is, because it was so lean, we wanted to give a little bit of mouthfeel, a little bit of richness. And obviously you can't serve the skin on a rabbit because typically it's got fur on it.
Yeah, it's a little fur.
You remove the fur,
Yes.
and when you remove the fur, you remove the skin. So you don't generally receive leg meat or rabbit meat with the skin on. But we wanted to give a little bit of that
richness and textural contrast.
Textural contrast with crispy skin. So we went to sort of a fan favorite, which is chicken. Chicken skin is
Very high in fat. On a dry basis, it's almost 80% fat, 20% protein. It's perfect matrix for this application because you still do have the protein present in the skin. You have the protein present in the rabbit meat. And what we're doing now is brushing it with transglutaminase.
the slurry. Yep.
Again, we're going to put these two proteinaceous materials in contact with each other with the glue between them and allow the chemically or the catalytic reaction to occur that will physically bond the skin, which has protein, to the animal meat, to the rabbit meat, which has protein.
And then we're going to get nice and crispy. And again, everybody likes crispy chicken skin. It's sort of a universal favorite. She's just wrapping it up now. Again, we talked about earlier, it's important to have contact points. It's not necessarily about pressure, but...
No, there's no pressure requirement, but there certainly is proximity.
Correct.
Proximity breeds reaction.
Yes.
In this case, the skin is going to be adhered to the rabbit meat. Now, how long is this kept in under refrigerated conditions, or does this go straight into heating?
No, ideally we would let this sit for a while. Yeah. Again, 3 to 6 hours minimum, overnight, ideal. See, she's just getting it nice and tight, removing the air.
Now she's puncturing the sausage. Why are we doing this?
She's piercing it just to get some air out, because again, any air between the skin of the chicken and the rabbit meat could cause inefficient weak points. So she's getting rid of all of the air so that very good.
So the whole ensemble, the skin and the rabbit, is placed in a circulating bath set at 64 degrees Celsius.
Correct.
In this case, we are using this temperature to cook the actual rabbit itself.
Yeah, we're cooking the rabbit
all the way through.
64 until it gets to an internal temperature of 64.
And it's cooked chill. So the meat is cooked to 64. After that, it's removed, cooled down, and that's ready to be reheated or rethermed.
It's to rest for a period of time, about 15 minutes.
And then it's rethermed a la minute.
And then it's rethermalized a la minute. Correct.
Because it's certainly been cooked all the way through. Very different appearance. It'll be interesting to note that once the plastic wrap is off, we should see how the skin behaves. Just patting it dry because it's going to go into the freezer.
It's going into the fryer.
And your fully cooked meat, cooked skin, that will now be crisped up in the fryer to allow for that textural contrast and some rendering of the fat out of the skin.
Yes, exactly.
For the crispiness.
It'll heat the rabbit through. The rabbit's already cooked. It'll just heat it through.
Warm it.
Spends 2 minutes in the fryer. Outside gets crispy. Inside gets warm.
If only rabbits came with chicken skin built in.
Exactly.
Kentucky Fried Rabbit. What?
So now she's heating up the garnish for the rabbit dish. The rabbit is resting. It's fried for 2 minutes. Okay. It's now going to rest for a minute or two.
To allow for heat transfer of the juices throughout. And to let it cool down a little bit too, because it comes straight out of the
pretty
fryer.
hot. Yeah, a little diffusion, right?
Yeah.
So she's heating up the cranberry beans, the cranberry bean puree, and a little bit of rabbit jus.
Rabbit jus, which would be the cooking juices from
The bones, the carcasses
bones.
of the rabbits.
So you made a stock or a jus out of that?
We made a brown stock, reduced it down. It's a light jus. It's not. I don't think of it as quite as thick as like a glace de viande or something like that. Those are pearl onions
That has been, okay.
that have
Vacuum infused?
yeah, in a little bit of hibiscus.
All right. So we have the 3 garnishes.
Yep. And then we have some onion soil, and then this is Thai basil nori, we call it. It's actually Thai basil blended with some xanthan, some glucose, spread and dried, and it resembles
Seaweed,
nori.
yeah.
Seaweed. So you can see she's cutting the
the
rabbit.
rabbit.
The rabbit looks very nice. It's juicy,
Nicely
it's
cooked
moist.
through. And the thing to notice is, of course, the skin is still adhered to the rabbit itself. Again, a covalent cross-link bond there. That is immutable to heat. I think that this is a very good example of heat stability because frying is a very, very challenging and violent environment for any piece of tissue.
Yeah.
So to see that bond survive that is quite telling of what we've created there.
So that's just a little bit of cranberry bean puree. Some actual cranberry beans. Pearl onion. It's been charred, vacuum infused.
With hibiscus tea. So
Yep.
for the purple is coming from the hibiscus tea. Rabbit.
Rabbit. This is what we call an onion soil.
How do you prepare the onion
That's
soil?
just it's like a streusel topping.
Okay.
It's dried onions that we grind up and we blend with flour and butter.
Okay.
And we
And
bake
then
it.
you just bake that?
Bake that. Like
Break
a
it up.
crumble topping. Yep.
Okay.
Break it up.
So a textural element there.
And then this is a
Thai basil.
Thai basil nori, we call
Nori.
it. And it's simply Thai basil. It's been blanched and blended with some xanthan and some glucose, sheeted, dried, and crushed up it. And it really does look like nori.
Yeah. It's an interesting because this is a dehydrated film.
Yep.
As opposed to the ravioli, which was a still aqueous film.
And then lastly, just a little bit of the rabbit jus.
Concentrated flavor of the rabbit itself.
Yep. Beautiful.
Very unctuous, thick gelatin coming from the rabbit and the bones themselves.